A racing driver's job goes beyond the circuit. He needs to do a bit of glad handing for the sponsors. At Montreal, that chore falls to Michael. Another pressure on McLaren's rookie.
How to run today? Ranger! Good to see you. Looking well. Did you get all the stuff I said? You do a good job? She pairs. I said every bags. Everything else. Beautiful, very nice.
When did you send it up?
Just 10 minutes ago. How do you do it?
Saturday morning. Steve is not happy with yesterday's performance.
We weren't quick enough. It's as simple as that. Mechanically, we made some adjustments to the car, but the majority of the work was programming or software work that we were doing last night to try and more than fine-tune the car. We're sufficiently slow to be making some fairly substantial changes. Ideally, we need to find a couple of seconds and more. Time will tell, and it won't be very long before we find out. I reckon we could go, David. What do you reckon?
It's time to try out the car again and see if last night's adjustments have worked. Michael's car is still causing problems. The right rear brake seems to be locking up when he enters a corner. He doesn't know why.
The wheels, and they're braking into the hairpin. Thing went like that, and I almost went straight off. It was strange. So let's just try and find out what's gone wrong. You lock the rears. We might have a flat spot on the right rear.
If you like it just across there, just if you run your hand just across there, you can, there's a definite flat spot.
They're not serious flat spots, there's a couple of them round it. Yeah, there's something weird though, there's a reason why it did it, you know? We're having a look now. For that reason, I'm just keeping you as you are until we've identified what's going on.
Now the action moves to the technology located at the back of the pit. Every detail of the car's performance is logged by the computer. Somewhere in this mass of messages, there could be a clue to the problem. The engineers have just got to find it.
If I stick to the 7.7, I end up with a single time lap, and this is a check lap to see.
The problem is if we find something and change it and go in the field at the same time, what's that going to do?
The engineers discover the rear suspension isn't balanced properly, causing Michael's brakes to lock up. It could be a sensor on the blink, so they decide to change it.
It's a precaution, I'd be able to change it.
Okay, so we think if we change it, if we cover it anyway, if we've isolated the problem, it'll be okay.
Yeah, but just be careful, just to check whether the connector is loose when you...
Okay, so I think we should run the field as well and see.
Run the field with the rear.
Check the connector.
We
think we understand what's going on. It's a problem with the rear left strobe sensor. We're just getting into it now. It takes us a while to change it, So we're taking the fuel out and going on to light tank. The cycle.
Are you changing the stroke sensor on software, or are we changing it?
No, I just give me a minute to sort out exactly how we do this.
Oh, right. Do we have to calibrate it again?
We just enter the calibration into the system monitor. It's fairly
You don't have to have it sat on the ground.
That's what I'm just going to sort out. We're done. We can go.
Problem solved. Michael tries again. The lunch break before final qualifying. Hospitality is all part of the Grand Prix scene, with sponsors and special guests to be wined and dined. But it's strict rations for the drivers, prepared by a professional dietitian.
I'm preparing a vegetable soup today with a kind of grain corn. We call it grain corn in Austria. It's a kind of spelt wheat, and the reason is because it's very warm today, and therefore it's quite important to get a lot of liquids and electrolytes in the body, and with the soup it's a perfect meal, I would say.
Saturday afternoon, the second qualifying session, and Michael's last chance to improve his lap time. Unless he goes much faster, he's going to be stuck at 13th on the grid, not a position McLaren is used to. 11 laps later, and Michael has improved yesterday's time. He's 12th, but still almost halfway down the grid. Formula One is proving a very frustrating business for the former American champion.
We've just finished final qualifying with Michael, and we're 12th place. We improved the car this morning. Unfortunately, we didn't reproduce our morning time this afternoon. I think the rapid rise in temperature this afternoon, or in between sessions, contributed to that. We are half a second quicker than we were yesterday, but it's not really quick enough. Touch disappointed all round, really.
It's time for some tactical advice from team boss Ron Dennis.
I actually believe that if you've got fuel, the best way to race here is to race. What I mean by that is to take advantage of someone screwing up at the end of the race. You've got to be as keep going all the time. Telling you, go for it. From now on, you just race the way you want to race, and we'll just live with the consequences. If you fall off, you fall off your own race. I think a relationship with Michael is relatively simple compared to the relationship that one has with someone like Ayrton, or in the past Alan Prost or Niki Lauda. In those instances, of course, you're dealing with drivers who have achieved their goals, the goals that we set for ourselves. They've won Grand Prix, they've won World Championships. What develops then in those individuals is an extremely strong and difficult to cope with character. And with someone like Michael, for example, he's yet to prove, and therefore is much easier to handle, because you're obviously the boss, you've got the power, and you can administer that in many ways.
Sunday, race day. Michael's wife Sandra is optimistic.
I think he's feeling very well. He's really pumped up here. It's nice to be close to home. I've never seen so many signs in the crowd for Michael, and it's a good feeling. It gives us a good feeling to have that much support.
feel okay. I mean, we probably, it's the worst we've qualified, but yet in another way it's the best we've qualified, and because I'm closer to Senna than I've ever been. And the car feels actually pretty good. It's just right now we're just hurting a little bit in the horsepower department, but it's a long race, and I think if we can be there in the end, we can make the points.
It's nearly 2 o'clock. In a few minutes, the Canadian Grand Prix will begin. These are the moments of maximum pressure for Michael. So far this season, his starts have often caused problems. If he can survive the first few laps, he has a chance of getting into the points.
S'il vous plaît, libérez la grille. Please clear the grid.
What Michael doesn't know, nor his engineers or mechanics, is that there is something wrong with the car's electrics. It may be a power failure or a faulty engine control unit. Either way, it's a disaster for Michael.
1 minute.
As all the other cars move off on the warm-up lap, Michael's car coughs briefly into life and then stops.
Started the car up on the grid. The engine fired. At the same time, everyone else is starting their own cars. We didn't hear it had stalled or cut out. And what had happened, there'd been a power failure, and Michael's radio, which is supported by the same power system, had failed. And so, until we spotted him sort of gesticulating and what have you, we didn't realise we were in trouble. As soon as we looked at the dash, we semi-understood the problem. We checked the jump battery connections and tried again. And we also tried to crank the car in case we'd just lost the dashboard. We were really grasping at straws then. And it was then time to move the car off the grid to the end of the pit lane because the other cars were coming round and we were in the way. The car still would not start. And so we changed the engine control unit, and when we did that, the car started, and we reassembled the car, and Michael was able to rejoin the race. Unfortunately, by then, he'd lost 2 laps, and we were making up the numbers from that point onwards.
Michael went on to finish the race, but wasn't in the points. Once again, the start spoiled his chances. On this occasion, it wasn't his fault. But in the competitive world of Formula One, results are what count, and team bosses are unforgiving people.
You have to assume, almost give him the benefit of the doubt, that he has the ability to win in Grand Prix racing. I think the big question mark is, is he going to do it in a McLaren? Is he going to do it this year? And is he going to get there fast enough to satisfy the needs of the team and the people who invest in it?